Hello, everybody. Welcome to the talk. My name is Maria Mooney. I'm a systematic kinesiologist and I'm based over here on the north coast of Ireland. And today I want to talk to you about the lesser known elements that have a massive impact on our health. I decided I wanted to talk about things that really affect our hormones, our energy levels, our mood, but we aren't necessarily taught about them from the get-go. So there are elements of my work that focus on nutrition, but I'm not going to focus too much on food because I know you've got great talks already lined up for that. So today the name of the talk is the holistic healthcare approach. And I just want to explain a little bit about what kinesiology is for those of you listening who have never had a kinesiology treatment, or maybe you have. Systematic kinesiology is the vein of kinesiology that I'm trained in. And really, what that means is that every person that I treat, every client that comes into my clinic, I'm looking at their symptoms and them as a whole from these four different pillars. So I'm interested in their mental and emotional health, that's the top. I'm interested in their chemical balance. So I'm looking at the vitamins, the mineral deficiencies and statuses. I'm looking at, are there any pathogens in the gut, any bacterial overgrowth or parasites or viruses, things like that. I want to know about their physical health, bones, ligaments, joints, but also what is their lifestyle like? Are they sedentary most of the time? Are they good movers? And then the yin yang symbol right in the middle, that is whenever I look at the energetic or the electrical body. Most people would know it as the acupuncture system. So, kinesiology, how I ended up in this, I had real issues with acne whenever I was about 15, right through to maybe 26, 27. And really at the very start, the system that I followed, really the only option that was given to me was antibiotics, multiple different antibiotics, to see if we could kill off the bacteria that was causing this acne on my face and my back. And when that didn't work, then I was moved on to different contraceptive pills. And I'm sure some of you have had this experience yourself, or daughters, or nieces, or even nephews too, who at the minute are so frustrated with their skin, and the only option that's given to them is different pills, different antibiotics. And when that didn't work for me, then I was passed on to the hospital. I worked with a dermatologist, and she recommended that I go on Roaccutane, or Accutane, I think as it's known now, which is a really potent medication, um, really high dose of vitamin A, which was great because it cleared my skin, but unfortunately left me with a lot of longer term health issues. My liver struggled, my gut balance was all over the place. And about a year and a half later, then my acne actually returned. And I think when I was in my mid-20s, that's when I really just hit the limit and figured there has to be a way that I can actually sort this once and for all. So off the back of that, I started Google researching, and the topic of food and skin was first introduced to me. So I went off some dairy. That actually did make a difference. It didn't heal the acne completely, but it got me curious enough about, wait a sec, things that I do to my body actually affect my health and my skin. And although that seems really obvious to me now, at the time I just thought I got acne out of the blue. I was one of the unlucky ones. But now, having worked with so many people, not just with skin, but other chronic health issues, it's clear that we have so much control over our health and the quality of our health. So, I want to talk to you today about really how to upgrade the quality of your health in ways that you maybe don't know about yet. So, you are in a relationship with hormones, with your hormones. Something that I like to explain to people when they come in and they have been told, maybe by their doctor or maybe by their friend, that, oh, your symptoms are probably just hormonal. Yes, that might well be true. But what do you do with that information? Usually people put things down to, oh, it's just hormonal, but they don't actually know, okay, well, how do I solve it? Like, what's the next steps? So you're in a relationship with your hormones. In a relationship, sometimes people fall out. They don't agree with each other. One spouse, for example, is angry at the other, but they don't actually know. So the person who, if one person is angry, let's say, John is angry at Martha, but Martha doesn't actually know why John's angry. So there's a complete lack of communication there. It's a very simple way to explain it. But what I'm trying to say here is very often we feel the wrath of our hormones. We know that there's imbalance there, but there's a lack of communication. We don't understand how to read why our hormones are unhappy. So hopefully today in this talk, you'll also understand how to read your own hormones because everybody will be different. Everybody will have different symptoms that I list here. The main elements that we're going to talk about are, yes, the hormone glands, but also the key players that you probably haven't heard much about. So the three that I want to focus on are the light stress that affects your hormones, emotional stress that affects your hormones, and energetic stress that affects your hormones. So these are the hormonal glands. I'm not going to go through each of them, but what I do want to say about this is every hormone gland affects another hormone gland. So, in essence, whenever you balance or support one hormone gland, let's say the thyroid, whenever we support the health of the thyroid, that's also going to affect the adrenal glands and the ovaries and the pancreas and the thymus. And very often I feel like people are encouraged to just focus on one thing. So just focus on your thyroid. Take, whatever medication that will balance your thyroid. It might short term, and actually it might provide you with great relief. And in some cases, that's exactly what we need to keep you sane and keep you healthy. We do need medication to help short term. But whether you're on thyroxine, for example, or you've been recommended that you go on it, regardless of whether you're on it or not, I always want you to think about what is the root cause of this hormone imbalance. And whenever we deal with that root cause, all of the other glands will benefit. It's not a case of I got my labs back and my estrogen is too low. So I'm just going to eat foods that are estrogen, promote estrogen production. That's very narrow-minded. And while it might work if the rest of your lifestyle is good, I want to show you how you can almost like catch all of them in one net by doing these big lifestyle adjustments. Okay, I love this little chart. So definitely screenshot it or pause this video, take a look and just see, do you see any of your own symptoms here? And what do they correlate to? And again, if you, for example, have real issues with anxious thoughts, water retention, really heavy periods, bloating, it looks like you might be on the estrogen dominant side. But that then is going to affect, of course, your progesterone levels, your cortisol, and your insulin as well. So if you cover lots of areas, don't worry, because we're not going to have to tick everyone off one by one. Whenever we balance one, we're going to be balancing all of them. I think this is just really helpful because it gives you a little bit of clarity on what is actually going on with your body. Again, going back to that communication. Whenever you see or understand the signals, then we know what to do with that. So let's move on to actual solutions here. Or first, we're going to go on to the causes and then we'll go solutions. So I put this slide in because I want you to remember that very often hormonal fluctuations are not your fault. You're not doing anything wrong. They come naturally, and we need to support ourselves whenever we're moving through these natural fluctuations. So, stage of life, depending on what age you are and what chapter you're going through, that's going to affect your hormones. Emotional stress, very often we can't help that. It's things that we're going through. our nutrition. As I say, I'm not going to go into too much detail because you've got great nutrition talks already going on. Our weight changes, so that might be because of illness or just because things have changed in our lives and our body has changed. That's going to affect our hormones as well. Medical conditions, any medications, that's going to affect things. Endocrine disruptive environments, so the products that we're using, the chemicals or lack thereof that we're exposing ourselves to, our lifestyle, whether we're moving or not, our alcohol consumption, chronic illness or inflammation changes our hormone balance, and also our light environment, which is one of the ones that we're going to go into. So let's start with light. I love talking about light, and I love starting with light because if you can change the light environment or the light that you consume through your skin and through your eyes, that has a profound effect on your hormone imbalance. And I've seen so many people, mainly women, who come in and they make one change to their daily life in regards to the light that they're absorbing or taking in. And that changes their period health, their sleep, their mood, even chronic pain and inflammation. It's incredible. So yeah, it impacts all of these things that I've written there. The most important thing is that we start to educate ourselves and our children on natural light versus blue light. So natural light contains the full spectrum of wavelengths, all of the colors. No matter if it's a cloudy day or if it's a really sunny day, whenever we go outside, we're getting the full spectrum. Granted, in different ratios, all of the light, different colors are changing throughout the day, but we're getting all of the colors. Whenever we move inside, or we're on our phone, or we're on our laptop or something, we're then changing it, so we're just getting isolated wavelengths. You'll hear people talk about blue light. So you're getting one color. There are a few different colors, but it's very, very isolated. So what's the issue with that? Because nobody is talking to us about the impact that massive amounts of blue light and device time actually has on our hormones. So see it this way. Natural light from outside is like whole food. It's like a whole food diet. It's naturally balanced. It's got different minerals, different vitamins. We don't have to think about, am I getting enough of this or this or this? It is like the full package, and our body loves it. And we consume it. Our body digests things really easily if they're whole. Indoor blue light is almost like junk food, processed, devoid of nutrients. It's not natural. Can we enjoy it now and then? Yes, absolutely. But if that is the only food, the only type of light that we're getting, or 90% of the type of light we're getting, there will be issues for your health. Of course, I'm going to move my little screen so you can read. But I just want to show you here, this band is showing you all of the different wavelengths of natural light. So natural light does so much more than we realize. It's antiviral, different wavelengths are antiviral. We know that there's vitamin D production off natural light. We know that we can tan. It's antibacterial. There's loads of different things that are happening, including wound healing and hair growth. Our bodies love light. The issue is we don't want to burn. So that's the difference. We don't want to burn, but we need light unfiltered through our skin every single day. So why light has such a major impact on so many things, sleep being one of them, let's go through that. So light signals, I'll keep calling it light signals, but the light signals that we receive through our eyes and our skin, believe it or not, but let's say through our eyes, during the day, causes our cortisol, so our get up and go, our energy hormone to spike, as you can see. And that is at its highest around 9 a.m. Generally, when people feel really productive, it's going to be between like 9 and 3. That gently starts to decrease. And as that decreases, It's antagonistic hormone. So melatonin is like our sleepy hormone, which is the little dashed line. As cortisol goes down, melatonin gently rises, making us nice and sleepy and ready for bed. Now, light, as you can see, during the day, that is when we're meant to get natural light, and that is what causes this cortisol to come up. And as the light starts to decrease, then melatonin starts to rise. The blue light in natural daylight that we receive is what causes that cortisol spike, which is great. During the day, we're meant to have more energy. The issue is whenever we go home after a long day of potentially being inside on a computer or under artificial light, and what we digest then is TV screens or mobiles or laptops with no glasses filtering out a lot of the blue light or no filter on the actual screen. What we're doing then is telling our cortisol, hold on a sec, it's actually still daytime, it's still 12 o'clock noon, it's solar noon. So cortisol needs to stay high. And if cortisol is high, then melatonin is not allowed to rise because they work antagonistically. So you can see why so many people are really struggling with poor sleep. They're not able to fall over and fall to sleep very well easily. They're waking up during the middle of the night, usually around 2, 3, 4 a.m. That's when their cortisol is actually too high. Or the quality of the sleep they get, whenever they wake up, they're tired. But when they come in and we talk about their light environment, what they did before bed was watch a movie or watch a few hours of Netflix, or they were scrolling on their phone, which I understand really helps us to unwind. But from a nervous system point of view, it's doing the opposite. It's basically getting us hyped up. Cortisol is spiking. So things that I'm going to recommend to you if you are a TV watcher or if you like to be on your phone, I'll come back to that one. These are the best tips I can give you. And it's honestly, it's quite simple. It's just getting back to nature and what the natural light rhythms are. During the day, try to wake up with the sun and avoid being on your phone for at least half an hour or an hour. If that's not possible for you, then turn on your filter on your phone so that it basically takes out the blue, quite a lot of the blue light. So turn on the tint on your phone. That will protect you. But get up with the sun and open a window or go downstairs or wherever you might be and try to get the light into your eyes without glass in front. Glass will filter out some of the wavelengths. So you need to crack a window or else actually go outside. Go out with your cup of tea or whatever it might be. That's amazing for your hormones. It tells your hormones what time it is, how much estrogen, how much progesterone, how much cortisol, everything, all the hormones know what they're doing whenever they know what time of day it is. And how do they know what time of day it is? The light. Okay, that's why it's really important to get the daylight into your eyes. If you work inside, the best tip that I can give you is to go for like light breaks. So people are heading out for smoke breaks. If possible, head out for 3, 4, 5 minutes if you can, every hour would be amazing, but I appreciate that that's maybe not possible. But as often as you can, just to get the light signals into your eyes so that your hormones know what they're doing again. At nighttime, if possible, let your body start to get sleepy whenever the sun gets sleepy and goes down. So move over to reading a book by like dim lighting, um, or yeah, having conversations, chats over tea, just trying to move away from devices before you go to bed. And again, if you must, if that is like a necessity for you, then be wearing glasses like these, amber ones, or even better, the red light ones to filter out almost 99, almost 100% of the blue light. And I have some more tips just at the bottom there. A fun little bit of information. So sunrise and sunset are magic rays. So yes, the sunlight all throughout the day is incredible, but there are now products coming out that are super expensive for the good quality ones, that are providing infrared light for skin healing, scar healing, this guy in the middle, I presume, for hair growth, muscle repair. Infrared light is the most abundant whenever the sun comes up in the morning, really close to sunrise, and when the sun is going down in the evening. So you could save yourself a lot of money and also add like real juiciness and glow to your skin if you're able to expose yourself to those special rays. All right, the next one that we're going to get on to that people aren't really maybe aware of. Okay, we're aware that emotional stress has an impact on our hormones, but I want to talk to you a little about the kinesiology perspective, which is really cool. Emotional stress, because of this reason, will impact your nervous system. It will impact your hormones, psychological health, your sleep, of course, and your ability to make changes. Sometimes people come in and they want me to help them with their food or how to ferment foods or their probiotics or their supplements, but they are emotionally overwhelmed. That is where we need to start because your body, if it's emotionally overwhelmed, that usually will take priority. The body is not able to take supplements and know what to do with them if there is so much emotion caught in different organs or different parts of your body. That needs to be dealt with first. So here's how kinesiology does it. So what we're doing here is finding clues in your body. In a session, what I'm going to do with people is test different muscles of their body because every muscle connects in with a different vertebrae on your spine. And then through the nervous system, those vertebrae then hold the nerve that feeds the different organs. So in essence, what I'm doing is testing muscles to see how is the energy in the stomach, how is the energy in the spleen, the pancreas, the small intestine, the large intestine. And if it comes up that the body is needing emotional support, then I'm looking at different emotions that are connected to these organ systems. So obviously I'm not able to test you all now, but I find this really helpful because people can connect what are your symptoms to then what are the emotions that might be the cause of these symptoms. So very often, let's look at stomach first. People come in and they've got chronic heartburn or they're really bloated. They feel nauseous. Their stomach is just not good, and they know that. Very often, these people will be in a chronic state of over-empathy or anxiousness for others, anxiousness about certain situations that they're trying to control, but they actually don't have any control over. So I'll see this a lot with people who are mothers, teachers, nurses, doctors, carers, people who have sick children or sick parents or their spouse or something going on there with their health. Very often this anxiousness and this real deep worry sits in the stomach and almost takes up the energy of the stomach, which is then causes the stomach to not be able to fully digest their food or produce the stomach acid that it needs, which then in turn causes this like nausea, heartburn issue, cramps. That's just one example. Another one that I really like is large intestine. So if you go down to the bottom, people will come in with real constipation issues. They're not moving their bowels daily. In fact, it might not even be every 2 days. It could be 3 or 4 days. And the emotion that's connected to large intestine is all to do with change, whether that's loss of someone or some situation, or they're moving to a new chapter of their life, feelings of instability around that, just fear, or they're struggling with the change. Very often, this feeling of being out of control then causes the body to seek control in holding on for dear life. And very often, the bowels then, because they're seeking control, the bowels are very contracted and they're not able to like gently release the stool from your intestine. So again, it's the body is trying to do its best for you with these really heavy emotions that you're experiencing. And I just find this beautiful because people come in and they have all of these symptoms, but they don't know where to start. Their body will tell me, okay, this is an emotional or this is a chemical issue. And very often emotion nearly comes up in every single session because we are emotional beings and our bodies are just listening to what's going on and then reacting accordingly. Um, okay, so the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about are what can you do about that? So number one, test the body to find out the emotion through kinesiology. If you are lucky enough to have a kinesiologist near you, great. I would recommend you try it out. Um, it really will give you so much clarity around where to start. There could be a whole myriad of things that need help, but kinesiology will pinpoint what the body wants to prioritize, which I just think is invaluable. If you're not able to see a kinesiologist, emotional stress release is a technique that I use. It's really simple. You're holding these 2 points at the front of your head, and either you can do it by yourself and just sit and allow more blood flow to come to this part of the brain just by holding the skin and lifting it up. Or if you're lucky enough to have someone who you feel really comfortable and safe with holding, you can lie down and just ask them to stand behind you and hold these points, really relaxing on the nervous system. Now, it's not really tapping into the root cause of why you're feeling this way, but as a little bit of short-term relief, it can be really nice. In terms of digging into things, going back to when this trauma or this pattern started and then releasing back then. So again, this is what we do in kinesiology sessions, but if you came in and you had a real fear, so something that kinesiology really helped me with was this fear of my parents' ill health, so that something would happen to them or that they would pass away and I wouldn't be able to cope. Whenever I had kinesiology help support me with that, I was able to go way, way back and understand that whenever I was wee, that I had seen something on TV about parents, about orphans or parents dying early. And that really stuck with me as a child. And then affected this sort of fear, this anxiousness that I had in my body. So when I work with a kinesiologist, I was able to go back to that moment and actually parent my younger self through that emotion over and over again and allow a physical release. So allow them to work on my body to find out where was I trapping that fear and gently release that. I just find it so effective. Because yes, we can talk about root causes and issues, but really the body is what's going to hold a lot of that trauma. It's not in your brain, it's in your body, it's stuck there. Back flower remedies, we use those in treatment, but you can also get them yourself. And lymphatic drainage. So the lymphatic fluid is what cleanses the cells of the body, and they say that the trauma is what's caught in the fluid, in the lymphatic fluid. So if you are able to lymphatically massage the different areas, the different organs, which is what I do with clients, you're able to release a lot of the trauma that's basically caught stagnant in stagnant lymph. In terms of the back flowers, this is just a little chart. It's not all of them, but I find this nice. Just so you can see what do they look like if you go into a pharmacy. Some pharmacies will do that. Or health shops, health food shops. So different flower remedies remedy different emotional states. For example, vervain, number 5. I would use that quite a lot whenever I get people in who are extremely uptight and tense and yes, anxious, but over energized around a certain topic. They're really, really tense. So what help a drop of that every day in the morning and one before you go to bed, 1 or 2 drops really helps move that tension in the body and change the energy in their system. Okay, the last topic that I want to talk about that again we're not really taught much about at school and nor are we talking about in the mainstream healthcare system is energetic stress. I've written energetic exhaustion here, but yeah, how different energy in your body and outside your body affects your hormones and your health. So you may have heard about yin and yang. That's basically female and masculine energy, which all of us encompass. So regardless of what gender you are, our bodies are said to have yin and yang energy. So yin is very much the feminine, it's like the receiving energy, whereas yang is the doing, the masculine. So get it done, more direct. Um, I notice in a lot of women that I treat that we are so used to being in our yang, so getting so much done, working overtime, finishing work, running to get the kids, bringing them to swimming, then going home, making the dinner, then watching TV, and then scroll bed. That is extremely exhausting for the body because it's doing, doing, doing. There's very little yin, and yin requires us to actually dedicate time to do less. So to sit, sip tea, maybe sit with a candle, read a book, which all sounds lovely in theory, and I know is really difficult because our whole society is set up on doing, doing, doing productivity. And ultimately, we have so many tired women and men because we're all in our yang and we're not really receiving much at all. And it really does take effort to sort of support and move into your yin energy. So ways you can actually do that. Nature is nature is equal, it's both yin and yang, but I find from what I've seen in clients that being in nature really helps them bring out their yin. It really supports their yin energy. Um, so energetic stress very often, with that being said, can come from being indoor most of the time, not connected to nature and under artificial light, which is very yang. It's very cortisol, productive doing things. A lack of fresh air changes the energy in our system because we are electrical, so energetic, electrical, whatever you want to call it. We are electrical beings and we are very sensitive to our surroundings. So the energy of your body, which then affects you physiologically, will be determined by what you're surrounding yourself with. So people who are very outdoorsy people, I find are naturally very healthy because their body is resonating with with the nature that they're in most of the time. If you are indoor for work, I would really encourage you to make a big effort to go for walks in the evenings or even in the morning, to swim if you can in natural water, to ground your feet. So to bare feet on the ground is going to change the electrical charge of your body. To just be in places and spaces that are natural, that will change the energetics of your system because you're going to resonate differently with your surroundings. And yeah, lack of connection to nature really changes the energy in our body. So that definitely is a topic that we are not advised by our doctors or by our hospitals most of the time. Maybe some of them are aware of the power of nature and how that changes our hormones in our bodies, but that is something that makes a massive, massive difference for people's health, to people's health. I mentioned grounding there. So grounding, as I say, changes the charge of your body. And I know it used to definitely be quite like a hippie thing to do, but I feel like more people, definitely on social media, I'm seeing it, more and more people are aware of the effect of connecting to the ground first thing in the morning or even after a long day's work. It will make you feel different. So yeah, just a little bit extra on the energetics. So grounding, time with animals is like a big one. They're also going to change the energy in your body. People with pets, I'm sure, can resonate with that. Eating outside is incredible. So getting light signals into your eye as you ingest is amazing for your digestion. And moving outdoors. So yes, I am a big fan of gym work and weightlifting, And if I can do that outside, I will, which is very not often. I have like a few dumbbells in the garage, but generally I'll go to a gym. If I can, if it's a little small gym and I'm the only one there, I'll open windows and turn the light off so I can use the actual natural light. But there's usually people there. I'm not able to do that. So don't be too hard on yourself in terms of being exposed to artificial light. That's normal. I guess where you can make little changes, do. So moving outside, whether it's a walk or a run or just a gentle stretch in the sand is good for your system.